When I misplace something publicly and I feel like everyone's staring at me, I take comfort in this fact. Most people are self-absorbed, narcissistic assholes, so they might revel in your shit for a minute because it distracts them from theirs, but after that minute, they're gonna forget about you. Just go right back to their own shit pile.
Getting philosophical with Rebecca Cantu. You know, she's quickly becoming my favorite character, especially because every other character is becoming so damn despicable. Like, Axe is just on a warpath this season, just destroying people left and right for no real reason, like that John Rice kid. And then Wendy, who is usually like the best person morally in that shop, she's pretty cold too, like what she just did to Taylor in the last episode. And then she feels bad about what Chuck did to her. I don't know if that makes sense to me. But Rebecca is the one who's actually not crazy at all, super level-headed, super smart. She's great, and she even teaches Axe some empathy in, again, the last episode with Bruno. Bruno wants to take off to Florida, and Axe is kind of being an asshole, wanting him to stay and make pizza still. And that's because Axe was only thinking about it from his point of view, where Rebecca was helping him see the other side. So Rebecca has a lot of lessons to teach, philosophical ones too. So in this video, we can too get philosophical, also with Rebecca Cantu too. But yeah, the clip you saw in the beginning of this video, that's one of my most favorite scenes, I think, in the entire series. Because Rebecca is talking about something that's super important, not only in investing, but in life too. And when I finally figured this concept out, it really helped me with everything that I've done up until this point, which isn't that much, but it's pretty good. So the point Rebecca is making to Wendy is that no one actually cares about you. And this goes for everyone. It's like a universal law. And I know that might sound depressing that no one cares about you at first, but in reality, it's actually freeing. Because when no one cares about you, no one is really paying attention or looking at what you're doing. And you know, when no one's looking, we all get a little weird, right? When no one's looking, you are free to do whatever you want. And I'm not just talking about like getting naked and doing, you know, freaky stuff. I'm talking about following your passion, changing your mind about something, and doing really what's best for you without the fear of being judged by anyone else. And that's the main benefit you get from realizing that no one cares about you. Because like Rebecca said, when it comes down to it, we're all just narcissistic assholes all wrapped up in our own stuff. No one cares that much about somebody else. But instead of realizing that, a lot of us act like we're on stage all the time or something. We're so scared to do anything that's kind of outside the box, or really even inside the box, because there's such a fear of what other people are going to think. And I guess nowadays it doesn't really help that we live in a social media fueled world where everybody, not just celebrities, but literally everybody is posting everything they do all the time as if they really are on stage. And then we all get off on likes and comments and stuff, right? It's this sick little social media game. But in a way, it keeps you in a box, because if you think everyone's watching, you don't want to do anything different for fear of getting a little bit of hate. But the truth is, when you do something different, like say you start a business or you release a video online, you're always going to get haters. But here's how haters work. They're going to watch your video or look at your business or see you started one for 2 seconds. And in those 2 seconds, they might leave a comment like, this guy's an idiot. But that's it. They only thought about it for 2 seconds, and then they're on with their day to go hate on something else. But what happens to us on the other side when we see a comment like that, we're left thinking about it for days, because you feel stupid, like, oh man, what if I am an idiot? What if this is not the way to go? And those comments rattle around, and that's why people are so afraid of it, you know? But think about how uneven that is. The hater is spending 2 seconds on something and you're spending days on it. It's way unbalanced. It's not worth it. And when I talk about starting a business, and this could be like anything, even starting a fitness plan or a weight loss plan, I'm talking about business and videos because those are the things I've done. And when I was starting them out, and even to today, I just got shit on. So some of you might know that I co-founded the research firm MacroOps that I always talk about in all these videos. But before that, I was working a cushy corporate job, and I left that job to go work at a company in Las Vegas, a similar type of research firm. And when I was doing that, people were like, what the hell? You're an idiot. Why would you leave your job to go to this random company, especially in Vegas? I mean, you're gonna fail. But I did it anyway. And guess what happened to the company? It failed. So everyone was like, I told you, you're an idiot. I told you that wasn't gonna work out. So that didn't work out. And what did we do immediately after? We started another business, MacroOps. So again, everybody was like, did you not learn your lesson? What are you doing? You literally just failed. You were gonna fail again. Didn't fail this time though. It's been working out pretty well, but that doesn't mean I wasn't called an idiot the entire time. But I had to keep that mentality the whole time to push me through it, because I knew every time someone was calling me an idiot, they literally thought about it for 1 minute and went on with their day. They don't actually care at all. And it's funny because even once you have a little bit of success, people are still gonna think you're stupid. So really, I just made a game out of it. So while this YouTube channel was starting up, I just go up to people and be like, yeah,
I'm gonna be a YouTuber.
And once again, they're like, really, dude? idiot. The only people who really liked that idea were little kids. They're like, oh wow, you're gonna be a YouTuber? Do you play Fortnite? I was like, no, it's not. I'm not streaming Fortnite. So of course their reaction was like, oh, okay, bye. So I'm like, all right, kid, fine. Just run along, little bitch. I mean, I swear I love kids, but they kind of piss me off sometimes. Especially because I don't have kids, so it's always someone else's kids. Like, I would never beat my own kids, but I would absolutely beat someone else's kids. No, I'm kidding. Kind of. But anyway, now YouTube is going pretty well too. And let me give you another example. Some of the best advice I ever got when I was performing on stage. I was doing stand-up and improv and stuff. So this guy told me, he said, no one cares about you. They are just there to laugh at a show. They could care less who you are, and most likely they're never going to remember your name, and they're going to completely forget about you after the show. So that kind of taught me to push my ego aside, you know, because all of this, the reason we care so much about what other people think, is because of our inner ego. But again, somebody coming to a comedy show, they don't care about you, they just want to laugh. But it's kind of tough for a comic, because when you go on stage and you're putting yourself out there and you're doing big jokes, like a big act out or something, you try to do a real funny accent, and when it flops and like no one's laughing, it's kind of devastating when you start bombing. First time I went on stage for stand-up, it started out pretty good. So people were laughing and I got excited, so I started jumping into some jokes I really shouldn't have. So I started talking about Indian people's dicks versus black people's dicks. And you could already tell it was going to be a terrible joke. So I tried to do this big act out. I was on the stage with my arm in between my legs to represent, well, you know, and then with my pinky in between my legs to represent, well, you know that too. But no one laughed, and it was terrible. I mean, it sounded really funny in my head, didn't translate, and that was devastating. I mean, it just really got worse from there too. Luckily, I never bombed again, but damn. And I felt so bad, like I kept my head down the entire time. But again, no one cared. Not a single comic that was there remembered me from that. Not a single person in the audience remembered it. The truth is, you would be so lucky to make an impact out there on a person that they actually remember you. Like, try starting a business or putting a video out there. Try going viral. It is so difficult because again, no one cares. Even by this point in the video, with me ranting about whatever I've been ranting about, according to YouTube stats that I see on every video, I've lost more than half of the people who started this video. And that's just the way it goes, because no one wants to pay attention to you. So we act like, oh, everyone's staring at us all the time, oh, we can't do this or that, when in fact we would be so lucky if someone was staring at us. So difficult to get noticed in this internet age where there's so much content and information. You really got to put that into perspective. So you can't live your life like everyone's watching, because in reality it's more of what Rebecca said. Everyone's a narcissistic asshole, only worried about themselves. And how does this relate to investing? Yeah, finally I'm talking about investing. Well, the biggest way that I've seen it relates is the fact that once people decide on something, like they go long Apple or something, the example I always tend to use, but they refuse to change their mind. They are not fallible at all, because that's what this channel is called, right? There's a reason why I named it what I did, is because to be a good investor, you need to be able to change your mind. When new information comes in and proves you're wrong, you need to be able to take that and keep it moving, because your objective isn't to be right, it's to make money. So many investors get stuck in trying to be right or prove a point or something, and they can't switch their thesis or switch their position so that they actually make money, and they lose because of it. And it's become even worse because everyone has a platform on Twitter or something to tweet about what positions they have, and once they put something out there, they feel like they need to stick to it even when the situation changes. So their ego gets all tied up into their decision, because again, they think everyone is looking at what they're saying. Even for the people who don't post online, they still think that for some reason. It's just a stupid way to invest, because again, no one cares. You might get shit on online for a little bit, but people move on. Again, they're thinking about you for like 3 seconds and then they're on to their own thing. There's a great classic story about George Soros, who's one of the best investors of all time. There's a story where he was playing tennis with Nassim Taleb's trading partner, a guy named Jean-Manuel Rozan. So they were playing tennis and they spent the whole time arguing. Soros was super bearish on the market, and Soros is kind of like a super extremely smart guy, right? So he had an elaborate theory explaining it. Rozan was bullish. So, you know, after the match was over, they went their separate ways. And it turns out Soros was completely wrong, because the market exploded after that. So 2 years later, Rosen runs into Soros again at another tennis tournament. And Rosen was like, do you remember what we were talking about? You saw what happened? And Soros is like, yeah, I did great. And Rosen is like, what? Soros was like, yeah, I changed my mind. I made a fortune. And that's it. Like, the best investors, they can change their minds like that. They could have strong opinions, but hold hold them very weakly, because if some new information comes in or someone else is right, they're gonna throw out what they thought so strongly about, because the real objective is to make money. So hopefully this scene and this idea from Rebecca Cantu can help you as well. I really feel like a life coach in this video talking about it, which, by the way, I'm actually holding a seminar that goes into all of this a lot more in depth. It's only $5,000 a ticket. It's the ultimate cleanse and reset for all this ego-ridden stuff you might be suffering from. We're having it in Vegas, great location. Well, it's actually the desert outside of Vegas. There's a tent. The hot in the day and the cold of the night, the cycling is really good for diminishing the ego. But yeah, it's only $5,000 a ticket. You could sign up in the link. No, I'm kidding. But what's very necessary is this Billions playlist I put together. So if you like lessons from the show and breaking down all the financial topics, go check out that playlist. I'll link it up here and down below too. And if you want more Billions episodes where we break down scenes from the show, then make sure you subscribe to this channel and smash that bell so you get an email notification when those videos come out. We're publishing a lot of them because we publish 7 days a week. So subscribe and I will see you in that next video. Stay fallible out there. Get it from this video? But I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.